Good morning, friends. It's Wonderful Wednesday. Are we ready to get this party started? I hear you. I hear you. Hey, Gen X Purple Heart. Good morning, Marla. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning. Welcome in, Little Red, Susan, Deborah. Good morning. Well, the first thing I got to do, y'all, is I got to frog some yarn because I need it for my project today. I every now and then I'll just grab yarn next to me. I was experimenting and practicing, so first thing we're going to do is frog. Yes, I need this yarn. So, hey, Leah, good morning. How is everybody today? It's hump day, wonderful Wednesday. The sun is shining. It's 22 degrees outside. My goodness. Carino, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Today we're going to work on a baby blanket. I saw a post on Book of Faces that said Rachel's gift is in need of baby blankets. I have 8 done that I've been kind of holding on to. I had to photograph them and do all the things. Um, but I had this one in the works, so I thought, well, let's finish this one up. So this is what we're going to be working on this morning. This little guy right here. Let me see if I can spread him out so you can see him. There he is. There she is. Whoever it is. This pattern is called the Study of Snow. It's worked in the round. This is a pattern that is FREE by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd, and it's called the Study of Snow. I'm using a G6 this morning. I'm using a 3-weight yarn. This is Loops and Threads Delicate DK in the colorway Cuddles and White. So I'm just doing some colored and then some white rose or the colored rose is kind of an accent. But if you want to make some blankets for Rachel's gift, they are in need of blankets right now. Sherilyn, good morning. Thank you so much for the heart me. Nikki, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in, friends. Sue, good morning. So, y'all, I know we're supposed to be getting a lot of storms this weekend. So make sure you all do the appropriate things. What are those appropriate things? Go to the store, buy all the toilet paper. Go to the store, buy all the eggs. Go to the store, buy all the bread, right? Make sure you're prepared. Sorry, that was a little tongue in cheek, little joke. Rush right out, buy up the stores. Hey, Shelly, good morning. Shelly says, I'm going to buy all the yarn. That was my plan, Shelly. I'm like it can snow here. It could ice. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna crochet just like I do every other weekend. uh yes, TP yarn and ibuprofen, the trifecta. There you go. Debbie said it's supposed to be -40 this weekend. That's a big change for you, Debbie, from old warm Nevada. Girl, you're gonna have to get some candles and stuff going. I did fill our propane tanks this weekend or this earlier this winter. We have both a central heat, but we also have the natural gas. So if we lose power or something, I will definitely be using that propane. So make sure make sure y'all do all the things because it sounds like we're in for it. Everybody and some of y'all are in for it even more than others. Anna, thank you so much for sharing the live this morning. So, guys, this pattern I'm doing today is called the Study of Snow. And y'all know this is one of my favorite patterns to do for baby blankets. So here's the magical thing about this pattern. This is by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd, who you all know has been a huge inspiration in my crochet life. There is a written pattern. There is also a YT tutorial that Mikey does that is absolutely phenomenal. And it takes you through step by step how to do these. If you are watching this morning over on YT, both the written pattern and the video are linked in the video description of our live this morning. So I really feel like this is an underrated pattern. And let me tell you why I think that is. When Mikey created this pattern, he used a 6 super bulky weight yarn. So it's a very thick yarn, and he made a very chunky blanket with it, which there's nothing wrong with that. However, if you're like me, I'm not a big fan of chunky, thick yarn. It's not my favorite to use. I don't like making blankets with it. I like to make hats with a 5 or 6 bulky. But even 6 bulky to make hats for me is kind of on the thick side. It's not my favorite. So I really wanted to make this pattern a few years ago. And I thought, you know what, Mikey? I'm not going to take your recommendation. Sorry, bud. We're not going to use a super bulky weight. We're going to use a different weight yarn. So when people see this pattern, I think that they see the bulky weight yarn and they shy away from it. I am here to tell you I have made this with a 4-weight yarn. I've made it with a 3-weight yarn, and both of them turned out absolutely stunning. This that we're doing today is a 3-weight yarn. This is a DK yarn, and I'm using a size G6. So basically, I took Mikey's big old chunky pattern and I turned it into something that's very delicate and beautiful. So when you are looking at this pattern, guys, do not be scared of that big number 6 right there. Choose a different yarn. Now, he also called for a size L11 and 8mm hook. Y'all, that is a huge hook. So what I do instead is I pair my hook with what the yarn tells me. So when you buy your yarn, it tells you on the label it's a 3-weight yarn, and it tells me right here to use my favorite, like a G6. That's right, a 4mm hook. That is what we're using for this project today. So pick a different yarn, try the pattern. It's really a fun pattern to do. He has full written instruction for those who like to read all the text. When I read all this text, I hear the little Snoopy teacher going wah, 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 wah. But what I love about this pattern is right here. This right here is the magic. Look at that beautiful diagram. And some of y'all just cringed. Some of y'all don't just cringe. Don't worry. We're going to talk through this pattern. It is a repeating pattern. And for those that don't know, if you're new to my channel, I do not read patterns. However, I really like to geek out with these. Sass, thank you so much for the heart hands. Thank you for being here this morning. I really geek out with these little diagrams. Okay. So that's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to do some diagram talk. Now, clearly I have already started this blanket, right? So we started right here in the middle and we worked our way out. But what you will see with this pattern is it's a very easy repeat. So do you see how we have these little puff stitches right here? And then when you come up here, voila, there's some more little puff stitches. And then we have this section in between. Here's a section in between. So what we're ready to do now is we're ready to start this little section in between. Okay. So when you start this pattern, you're going to start right here in the center and work your way up. Then you will see Mikey has directed us with this little red arrow on the side. He says to repeat rows 4 through 12. Okay. So when you get up here to row 12, he's telling us we're going to hop back down here to row 4 and we're going to repeat these up. Row 13 and 4 are one in the same. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, I just finished row 13. So we'll see how far we can get in the next hour. Now, this blanket is pretty big, so I'm not going to be able to talk through all of this. But I think next week we're going to start another one of these from scratch because they are one of my favorites to make for Rachel's gift. Rachel's gift asks for baby blankets that are 21 inches. And they're relatively small. I can actually make a full blanket in a day when I do this for Rachel's gift. But it's a great organization. For those that are not familiar with Rachel's gift, there is information I have listed on the Discord. But basically, they make bereavement boxes for families and mothers who lose their babies in the hospital, stillborn. It has literature for them of how to make arrangements along with a memorial blanket. So this will be a memorial blanket in that one of those boxes, and they send them to hospitals all across the United States. Rachel's gift is based in Georgia, which is pretty close to me, so it's a very easy ship for me to send some blankets down there. Okay, so we're going to do a lot of stitch talk today, y'all. So if you're just joining, I tried to say hello to as many people as I could this morning, but bear in mind we have amazing moderators here this morning, and they're going to help answer the questions about the yarn that I'm using and my hook size and all of that as we go along. But I am using a G6 hook. This yarn is Loops and Threads. It's called Delicate Decay. I have two different colors, Cuddly and White, and I'm pairing those together, okay? Linda, good morning. Welcome in, Little Red. Good morning. I don't know if I said good morning. I think I might have. My mom is here. Queen 530. Good morning. Miss Hannah in the house. Good morning. Maria, welcome in. I saw somebody's kid is sick. Was it a kid that's sick? Sorry to hear that. I hope you start feeling better if it was yourself or Wicked said there's somebody sick. So anyhow, I hope you start feeling better there, friend. Where did I put my hook? Here it is. We can't crochet without the hook. Okay. So I have finished row 13. Row 13 and row 4 are the same. So I am now ready to start um, this row right here. Oh, excuse me. I just finished row number 12. My bad. I'm now ready to start row 13. So row 13 and row 4 are the same. So the way that we read this diagram, Mikey does his stitches a little bit different than I do, guys. But what it calls for is a chain of one. When you see this sideways oval right here, you come over to your legend and it tells you these symbols are what is shown up here. So you look for what it's calling for, the little oval, and you come here and it tells you the oval is a chain. Okay. So it tells me I'm going to chain one. Then I'm going to do this stitch that looks like a T. When we come to the T, that will tell you it is a half double crochet. So that's going to be our first stitch. Now, see how these stitches are sitting on top of the plus sign? That is the row below. So whenever you look at these stitches, they point into the stitch that you're going to be working into. So in this case, I'm going to be working this T stitch, but see how it has the little loop-de-loo here on the bottom? That's the technical term, loop-de-loo. Come over to your legend. The T with the loop-de-loo, there's our little loop-de-loo, is your H, B, C, H, excuse me, D, C, B, P. So what that calls for, that abbreviation, is half double crochet. BP is back post. I say this as back post half double crochet, however you say it. The reason I know it's not a double crochet back post is because it's missing that little hatch mark. So I'm going to do in the corners a half double, chain two, and then half double. Remember, as you're looking at these diagrams, this is a slice of the pie. We're only looking at 1/4 of the piece. So we're going to repeat. Oh, this section will be over here, again down here, and then over on the side. Same thing, okay? So does everybody see how I got that half double? Then we're going to do half double back post, and then here is where we have our corner. We're rounding with our two doubles. Or, excuse me, two chains. Okay, so where did I put my hook again? Y'all, I keep losing my hook. How am I supposed to crochet with no hook this morning? When you are working on these squares, as you are changing color, one of the things I really like to do is I like to rotate my work in order to... Is that better light on my hands? Here we go. Can we see better now? I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook here. Wait, no. Am I going to do a standing? Yeah, we'll just do a slip knot here. Let's just do it the easy way. Okay, so when you finish your blanket, you can see right here, I ended the last row in this corner. One thing that I really like to do is rotate my work, and I will choose a different corner than the one that I ended with. So you know when you're making your granny squares and they get a little like where one side looks longer than the other's kind of lopsided? Like that, we're trying to avoid that situation. Okay, so I need to do a half double crochet right here in the middle. I'm going to do a standing half double. Hang on, I can't see. I'm off screen here. Okay, so I start with a slip knot on my hook. Then what we're going to do is we're going to work a standing half double right into that corner space. So I wrap my yarn around once, I go down into the space, and then I pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook, and yarn over and pull through all three. So that is my standing half double. Now, if you don't like to do a standing stitch, you could do it just like Mikey did, where he does a chain one and then do your half double. Okay. In the corners, I need to chain two. And now we're going to put a half double right back down into this corner. Okay, so there is our corner stitch. Half double, chain two, half double. Now, once again, what our pattern tells us right here is we're going to do these little loop-de-loo stitches. So these are half doubles in the back post. Okay, so instead of working right here on the top of our stitch, what we're going to do is we're going to work around the post, the legs of the stitch down here below. And it wants a back post. So instead of coming at it from the front, we're going to access that stitch from behind. Okay, so we're going to wrap our yarn around. We need a half double. I put my work forward and I'm going to slide my hook underneath that post so that it's literally sitting on top of my hook. Then I yarn over and pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook, and then I yarn over and pull through all 3. What this does is it's going to flip the top of the stitch forward and create a really delicious line of texture right here. Okay, so here we go. Yarn over. Once again, put our work forward, slide our hook underneath that post, grab up our loop so we have 3, and yarn over and pull through all 3. And we're going to repeat that all the way down. As we do that, what's happening is it's putting the little green yarn right here in front around the post, and you can see how that little line of texture is starting to form. Now, as I was chit-chatting with my friend Leah, Leapin' Llamas, the other night, I said, I have become a real fan of working instead of a back post to actually work a half double into the third loop. And I told her next week when I make one of these, I really want to try where there's back post to actually make third loop stitches. I think what that would do is allow that line of framework, this line we're talking about right here, see how that's real thick and kind of puffy? I think if I did that in the third loop, it would lay a little flatter to my work. So I want to experiment with that and kind of see. But it's really cool how this line of texture forms with very little effort. Now, guys, when I first started learning how to do these back post stitches, it took me a long time. So if you have not made back post stitches before, I will warn you, these take quite a bit of practice until you can kind of get your rhythm down. Hey, Stacy, good morning. They do take quite a bit of practice. So what I would do when I was first learning, I actually didn't even do a project. I just would make like a thing that had double crochets. And then I would work these back posts into that row of double crochets. And then I would frog it out until I got my rhythm. And it took me a long time to get my stitch consistency and how I would do this. Now you can see as I've gotten more practice, I'm much more fluid with my stitches. But as you're first learning it, it's okay to like break down the stitch in your mind of how you do it. So slow it down, wrap your yarn around. I like to put my thumb here. You'll see me hold my thumb on my yarn. And what I'm doing is I'm controlling how this yarn is sliding on my hook. So what would happen when I was first learning is I would bring my hook down, and you see how that yarn slides around the tip of my hook there? Then I was trying to go through here and pull up my loop, and it was very scrunched right through here. And I had a very hard time controlling how that yarn was working. So as I was like experimenting, what I discovered is if I hold my thumb here, I can pull this yarn back, which frees up the entire tip of the hook so that I can make that stitch a little better. And then I pull it up like that. So it helps me to control how that yarn is working on the hook itself. And still, even when I'm going fast, you will see it's kind of fluid now, but see how I still have that yarn and I'm pulling it back with my thumb or my thumbnail to make sure that that tip of my hook is completely free and unobstructed as I make these stitches. But when I was first starting, I would literally do the put my work forward, slide underneath, pull up my loop, right? I'm showing very dramatic, but that is how I learn. So I try to show my little tips for those that have not made some of these stitches to make it a little easier, kind of maybe help with that learning curve as you go along. So again, this is a repeating pattern. This pattern, if you're just joining, is called the Study of Snow. So the stitch that we're doing right now, this green, is this stitch that you see right here, kind of snugged back in there. See how there's this line of texture right here? That is this line of texture we're making. So it's very, very cool. Rocky Mark, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Friends, if you are new to the channel, my name is April, and I am a hobby crocheter. I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central, and we do quite a bit of stitch talk as we're um, learning some stitches. And I, by all means, am not an expert crocheter. I do work full time, but I have learned so much over the years from different creators. And so this is kind of my way of coming on and, paying it forward a little bit and learning some of these stitches right along with you. Every day I learn new things and new patterns, all of the things. So this yarn, the mods will pin there for you, but the pattern is called The Study of Snow. It's by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. You can also find the written pattern on Yarnspirations. But he has a full YT tutorial with a great demonstration of how to do each and every one of these stitches and how the pattern works. That is how I learned to make this pattern, and I make it a lot. Sue, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Stephanie, arrows to the right. Good morning. Welcome in. Um, Annie asked, anyone know where to get written patterns for blankets? Usually you can find those on the web. So just do some research there. A lot of times they'll actually be linked in the YT videos as well. So like with Mikey, this pattern, if you go watch his YT tutorial, if you look at the description, it will be linked there for you. Now, if you're watching over on YT this morning, the video is where I'm working. I also have those linked as well. Hang on, I gotta lift this YouTube camera up a little bit, guys. And if you are new, I am live this morning, both on TikTok and over on YT. My handle over there is Wheeler 8 Acres. So you can certainly go back and watch live replays of all of the things we work on here on TikTok over on YT. But this morning we're working on the pattern called Study of Snow. This is what it looks like. We started in the very center and are working our way out. And right now we're starting the repeat as we work up. So we're adding this little cute line of texture there, kind of framing in this section of our work. And it's a really fun pattern to make. I make it a lot for baby blankets. So it's definitely a pattern I encourage y'all to check out. One thing I mentioned at the beginning of the live, this pattern is written for a 6 super bulky yarn. However, you will notice this morning I'm actually using a yarn called Delicate DK. It is a 3-weight yarn, and I'm using a size G6 hook this morning. So do not be intimidated when you see that pattern is written for a bulky yarn. I have also done it with a 4-weight yarn as well. I think I used a 5 millimeter or 5.5 millimeter for that. All I do is I match my hook size with the size of yarn that it calls for. Okay. So look at your yarn, look on the back of the label, and it'll tell you what size hook to use. So here we are to the corner. I have finished my last back post half double. Okay. Now into the corner right here, we've basically reached this other side right here as we've worked across. So here are all of our little back posts. Here is our corner stitch. It tells us we're going to do a half double. Again, I know that because it's a T shape. You come to your legend, find the T, and it tells you it's a half double. Then it tells me there's 2 little ovals. The 2 ovals are the chains. Okay, so we're going to do a half double, chain 2, and then remember this quadrant, because this is broken into sections of 4, we need to put this here as well. Okay, so we're going to have 4 quadrants. So I'm going to do a half double, chain 2, then a half double, then I'm going to start repeating those back post half doubles. So here we go into the center of our corner, half double, chain 2, and half double. Okay, so there is our corner. And now we're ready to turn our work, and we're going to start working once again those back post half doubles. So where we do this is how we do this, we're going to yarn over, and I'm going to work, instead of on the top of the stitch right here, I'm going to work around this post with our half double crochet. And we're going to bring our hook down, put our work forward, slide our hook underneath that post, pull up a loop, so we have 3 loops on our hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. So what that does is it puts the yarn here around the post instead of in the top of the stitch. So as you look at the other ones that I've done, you can see how we have a whole line of these, and then it causes the top of the stitch to come forward and create that little framework. This is such a beautiful pattern, guys. And for a long time, I was very intimidated by patterns like this. Okay. And what I did is I went over to YT and I watched Mikey's tutorial of how to do this. And I learned the stitches by watching him and practicing. And you guys, for those that don't know, if you're new, when you have a written pattern like this, I have been crocheting for 41 years. To this day, I do not read patterns like this. I think of this is like the Snoopy teacher that goes, want, 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 want. It doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe if I tried really hard, I could. But here's the thing. I don't let it limit what I can do in my crochet. And for years, I thought, oh, of all the reasons, oh, I can't do that, or I can't do that pattern, or I can't, do this. We as crocheters or humans, right, are a lot of times what holds ourselves back, because instead of saying, oh, I can do this, or how can I do this, or how can I accomplish this, immediately I would put this roadblock up in my mind that would say, oh, I can't do this pattern because I can't read a pattern, or I can't do it because the stitches are too complicated and I don't know how to do the stitches. But I'm here to tell you guys, watch the YT. It walks you right through it. We're talking about the stitches this morning. We're going to do another one of these next week where we start in the very beginning. So a great question is being asked right now by Rachel, guys. The question is, what does it mean to be worked in the round? So what that means, Rachel, is when I started my project, I started it just like a granny square. So for those that have made granny squares, I started right here in the middle and I worked my stitches around. Okay. The way that this pattern is worked, it's called working in the round. So when I work on a flat blanket, what happens is I turn it if I'm working back and forth in each direction. With this pattern, we're not actually flipping it and turning it. What we're doing is we're just going to keep working around and around and around as we go. And the pattern gets bigger until we get it to the size that we want. So that is called working in the round. Now, the blanket that we worked on yesterday, for example, this blanket is not worked in the round. Okay. I started right here in the very corner or the very beginning, and I worked this way. Then I flipped my work, right? And I worked back the other direction. And then when I got over here, I flipped back the other direction and I worked this way. So that's the type of pattern that you do where it's not worked in the round. It is worked by flipping your work. So this pattern is a little different. But Rachel, does that help to explain what it means to work in the round? So basically, when I get done with this green, I'm not going to flip my work. I'm just going to start on the next row, working around in a circle, or in this case, a square, until I do all of the stitches. Okay. So again, don't limit yourself. Now, if you're a brand new crocheter, this pattern is considered an intermediate pattern. Okay. We have all sorts of people that watch at all different skill levels. So I'm okay with coming on here and talking and teaching about an intermediate pattern, guys. And the reason why is because someday y'all will be there. You'll be ready to take on something else. And you're going to think in your mind, oh, remember when Wheeler did that really pretty stuff with snow? I think I'm ready to maybe take on something like that now, where there's a little more complicated stitches. This pattern is worked by doing a whole lot of different stitches. So in my mind, I call this like a sampler blanket. And it is one of my favorite types of blankets to work on because the stitches are constantly changing. You can see right here, every row is a little different. So this right here is a back post, which gave us this line of texture. Then we did crisscrosses. Then we did half doubles into the crisscrosses. Then we did a V-stitch. Then we did more half doubles. Then we did double crochets. Now I'm doing, again, a back post half double. But the part that's exciting about it is it changes every time I'm working on a row. It's something different. So when I'm working on some projects, I tend to get a little bored, right? You know how you're like making a project and it's the same thing over and over again, and you're making a huge blanket and you're like, oh my gosh, is this thing done or what? Like, I'm so over this project. Well, in this case, because the stitches are constantly changing, it makes it so that it keeps my interest, and it's faster for me to work because every row is like, oh, ooh, ooh, what do I get to do next? I love that. I love that. So anyhow, you can find lots of patterns like this out on the web. You just have to do some research. A lot of times you can find great patterns like this over on TikTok. People will post pictures of blankets or projects that they make. This particular one is called The Study of Snow, and it's by the Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. And he is a great, great crochet teacher. He has been a huge inspiration to me. Alpha, good morning. Welcome in. Lynette, good morning. Welcome in. Welcome in to all of the new followers this morning. If you are new to the channel, my name is April, and I am a hobby crocheter. I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central. We are live this morning both on TikTok and over on YT, and we're working on a baby blanket this morning. I'm working in particular on a blanket for Rachel's Gift. Rachel's Gift is an organization that is based out of Georgia, and they make memorial boxes to go to the hospitals for parents and mothers who have lost their children at birth, so stillborn. And basically, it is a bereavement box. They get a memorial blanket. That's what this blanket will be used as. It's a very small blanket. It's will be about 21 inches. That's the size that they like. You can find information about Rachel's Gift on Book of Faces. Also, I have all of the information pinned in my Discord, so you can definitely check that out as well. And there's the mods can tell you how to get to my Discord. If you need an invitation, just DM me and I will send that as well. So feel free to check that out. But the reason why I am working on a baby blanket this morning is Rachel's Gift made a post on Book of Faces a few days ago, and they said that they are in need of baby blankets. So I have posted a few of them the last couple days on my TikTok and over on YT on the shorts, where you can see some of the blankets that I have made. I have a total of 8 blankets finished right now that I need to just tape up the box and get them sent off to Rachel's Gift. They are in hospitals all across the United States. Their headquarters is in Georgia, but it's a really good organization. They put literature for if the parents need help making arrangements and all sorts of things that really help kind of during this time of need. So although it's heartbreaking, like when I think about a family or a mother losing a child, I feel like this in its own little way kind of helps with that grieving process. So it's my little way to help contribute. And it's not just me, there are thousands of people that make blankets for Rachel's Gift. Kelly just posted. Kelly, good morning. Welcome. Kelly said she's finishing up one right now for Rachel's Gift. A number of our friends here have made them. And so it's just a really great organization. How do I ship the blankets? Do you wrap them in tissue paper or large Ziploc bags? You can put them in large Ziploc bags. I have plastic bags that I get off the Zon, and I just tape them. I just tape them closed with the blankets. But I think you don't even. Here's the thing, if you do put them in a plastic bag, Paloma, they are going to take them out of the plastic bag in order to put them into the memorial box. So I don't think you even have to put them in a plastic bag. If you have a clean box, you could just package them in the box, and then the volunteers will take them and they will use those to stock the memorial boxes. This yarn that I'm using this morning is 100% acrylic, machine washable and dryable. It's loops and threads. In The yarn is called Delicate DK. The variegated yarn that I'm using is soft pastel colors, and it is called Cuddly. And then I'm also pairing it with just the solid white. Now, they do not want solid white blankets, guys. They want something that is colored. And the other thing is, they do not differentiate and make boy boxes or girl boxes. They need to be, what do you call it? Where it basically can cover either one. So make sure you have all the colors of yarn. This one has greens and blues and pinks. And so make sure they have all of the colors with the blanket. Okay. Unisex. Yes. Gender neutral. Thank you, guys. Words sometimes are hard, especially this early in the morning. Yeah. Gender neutral. So they want them to be used for either a boy or a girl. They are 21 inches square are the blankets that I'm making, 21 inches square. And they have a site that you can go to, and it will tell you all the information about the specifications for the yarn, the size, all of the thing. It's called Rachel's Gift. Okay. So definitely check that out. They want acrylic yarn, I believe, for the baby blankets, but double check me on that. But I'm pretty sure they prefer acrylic. I am using acrylic yarn this morning. The other thing is, because it's a memorial box, you want to use something that's a fiber that's going to last forever, basically. Okay, so here we are to the corner. I have finished all my back post half doubles. Into the corner, once again, we need a half double, chain two, and then a half double. I am originally from Arizona. I grew up in Prescott, Arizona, for those that are familiar with the area. Prescott is up in the pines at 6,000 elevation. It's basically like Denver, Colorado, in kind of how it feels and looks. It's a very small town, although Prescott has grown tremendously over the years. My husband and I, we relocated to Northeast Alabama about 5 years ago. If you're curious about my name, Wheeler 8 Acres is my nickname. My name is April. And anyhow, my husband loves four-wheel drives and off-roading and all of that stuff. And so his nickname is Wheeler. And so by default, I am Mrs. Wheeler. And of course, you see my mom there in the chat, Mama Wheeler. She's there watching in Florida with my dad, Papa Wheeler. And yeah, we're a whole family of Wheelers, but Wheeler is not my official name, although everybody calls me Wheeler now. So when I first started coming on TikTok, I was posting, canning videos, videos of my deer and wildlife that we have here in Alabama. And then I kind of started posting more about my crocheting. And one of my friends encouraged me to come live on TikTok. And I thought to myself, oh, nobody gives a rat's what about April in Alabama and her crocheting. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, Christina. Silly girl. So I started going live about a year and a half ago. My first time going was on July 5th. She finally convinced me, after much cattle prodding, literally, um, uh, to go live. So I went live for the first time on July 5th. And I met a lot of you guys here. So a lot of you that are here this morning are kind of the loyal friends that hang out every day. And anyhow, it was very scary the first time I went live. For those that have not done it, it was overwhelming. I was incredibly nervous. Lynette, my sister-in-law, that's Sis Wheeler, lives down in Pensacola. Most of my baby blankets, Lynette, I send down to Pensacola. My sister-in-law works for I think it's Catholic. It's a Catholic hospital. You probably know the name, Catholic something or other. She's a NICU nurse. And so a lot of the baby blankets that I make that are not for Rachel's Gift, they go down to Pensacola. to my sister-in-law's NICU. But anyhow, I was so scared to go live. It was the most wild thing that I've ever done in my life. And anyhow, I did kind of good on my first live, and everybody was very encouraging. And I they all said hello. It's weird. It's unnerving as you're sitting here going live for the first time. For those that haven't done it, here is the blanket we're working on today. But I'm sitting here on my couch, in my recliner, like crocheting, and I'm having this full conversation, I felt like, with myself. So when you first go live, there's nobody there. It's like tap, tap, tap. Anybody out there? But I just talked. I talked like I talk every day. I tell stories about my birds, my dog, whatever. I talk about my crocheting. And so, anyhow, I just started talking. And eventually, some people joined in and they started asking me about what I was making. And it has been the most rewarding journey on TikTok. And for those that don't know, I've made a number of really good friends here in the little TikTok land. And this past weekend, I actually went to New York City and I met in person some of our friends that I have met here on TikTok. So I actually met up with JT, Son of a Stitch, Leapin' Llamas, Leah, and our friend Shan, who's from Texas. We actually went to New York City. I posted a little story yesterday about our New York City trip, and we talked a lot about it yesterday. But talk about a crazy world we live in, because here I went to meet TikTok friends in real life. Isn't that cool? Kind of neat. Nana said, I enjoy your lives and have learned so much. Well, thank you so much. That is why I do it right there. For everybody's like that comes and just enjoys hanging out and chatting. It's not just me, it's a whole little community. Chantel, good morning. Welcome in. Lori, welcome in. Good morning. Thank you so much for the follow. Thanks for being here. String cheese. Oh, everybody loves a good string cheese. Welcome in, friend. Glad to have you here. If you are new, my name is April. And we're just doing some talk this morning. I'm working on a little baby blanket. But this pattern I'm working on is called the Study of Snow. Right now, I'm doing a back post half double crochet. So instead of working on the top of the stitch, it's worked around the post, which gives it this really lovely line of texture, and it makes it so that it pops forward. It's really cool. So anyhow, it's a lot of fun. It's really enjoyable to come live. Sam, thank you so much for the follow. That must have been a cold, snowy weekend. Nurse Marie, I'll tell you, the weather, I felt like, really cooperated with us while I was there in New York. So I went to New Jersey. I flew into Newark, for those that are familiar. I forgot to turn on my YT comments this morning. I wondered why it's so quiet over there. YT friends, if you've been talking to me, I'm sorry. I forgot to put the comments on my TV. My bad. I'm like a rookie over here, y'all. The weather was not bad in New York. We went to the city on Friday. And Nurse Marie, JT is in Somerville, and that's where I stayed in Somerville. I actually stayed, was it called Bridgewater, JT? Stayed in a hotel in Bridgewater, which was very close to Somerville. And then we took the train from Somerville into Penn Station. And the weather was not bad while we were there. Now, it was cold. It was cold and kind of windy, but we didn't get any snow on Friday while we were at the city. We went to the Met and just hung out and visited and had a great lunch there. We had so much fun. But Saturday morning, I flew out Saturday and I opened the curtains. Leah was with me, Leaping Llamas. We shared a room, and I woke up the windows. That's what I call it. When I started calling that when I was a little girl, where you open up the windows. We call it waking up the windows. So anyhow, I woke up the window and I looked outside and I said, Leah, it's snowing. It snowed on Saturday. It was so pretty. And we went to the diner there Saturday morning for brunch. And then I flew out Saturday. And yeah, it was a great visit and great trip. But who would have thought a year and a half ago when I started going on TikTok that I would meet crochet friends, talk about crochet 3 days a week on the live, and actually meet crochet friends in person? Like, who does that happen to, right? Like, that's kind of wild. But yeah, we're really good friends, and we're friends in person now too, rather than just on TikTok. So it's pretty cool. It didn't snow a ton while I was flying, but it snowed the whole time I was there waiting for my flight in Newark. And then I had a layover. I flew into O'Hare, and then I flew back out of O'Hare to Chattanooga. I had a plane change in at O'Hare. Next time I'm going to do direct there and direct back. So anyhow, I know we've got big storms coming, y'all, for this weekend. So make sure you guys do all the things, right? Make sure you're prepared. Um, I say this in jest, but make sure we have snow coming. Make sure you go buy all the toilet paper out of the store. Make sure you buy all the eggs, all the milk, all the things, candles and batteries, right? We don't want to see a single item on that shelf. I need you all to buy it all up. We all know that's what happens, right? I got to text Mr. Wheeler a list tonight because honestly, I'm down to like half a roll of toilet paper, and we definitely need to get some toilet paper. We're not going to buy the whole store out, though. Don't worry. We just are going to buy enough for us. Stock up on yarn. Oh yeah, don't forget the butter, right? Right, Tony? And oh yeah, and milk too, and ibuprofen. Yes. So I know y'all are in for some cold weather. I am going to be live tomorrow, guys. I'll be back at 7:30 Central. We're going to be working on probably a different project tomorrow. I might actually work on a hat tomorrow. The other day, Yarn Inspirations was oh no, sorry. Premiere had a sale, and I will tell you, while I was in New York City, my box of yarn came from Premiere, and I took advantage of their sale they had for a Premiere puzzle. And I have a whole box of yarn that is literally calling to me to make some hats. So I got the Premiere puzzle. I didn't get any of the sparkle. I had a lot of the sparkle already, but I have so many fun different colorways. So I originally was going to work on a Valentine blanket tomorrow, but I think we're going to work on a hat instead. So I have to get my hands on that new yarn. Next week, guys, we're going to work on a new Study of Snow. Okay, I want to make another blanket for Rachel's gift, and we're going to start it from the beginning. I'm going to work on that on Tuesday morning. So if you are interested in making this pattern, Tuesday at 7:30, we're going to start from the very beginning. I'm going to pick a different yarn, and we're going to start one of these from scratch. Okay. And I'm going to walk through. When we do it on Tuesday, we'll have more of an opportunity to get through some of these rows. Here's the thing, guys. I only stay on live for 1 hour, and it's not enough time to get through the entire blanket. Clearly, there is an amazing tutorial by Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. Okay. This pattern is called the Study of Snow. There is a written pattern that you can find on his blog that he has. Okay. There is the diagram, and there is a full YT tutorial. If you are over on my YT, my handle is Wheeler 8 Acres. I'm live this morning. I linked all of that in today's video. So if you are on the Googler and you can't find it, you can also find it over on my YT. Now remember, when you're looking at Wheeler 8 Acres over there, there's multiple categories. There is a category that says shorts. There's a category that says videos, and there is a category that says live. So this morning we are live. All of the live replays are over on that live tab, and that's where you're looking, and you can see all of the previous ones listed out. So anyhow, check that out. Nurse Marie said I couldn't find corner to corner video on your YT. I'll DM you. If you're looking to do the corner to corner, this one right here, Marie, the granny stitch, Hooked by Robin also has a full tutorial on this. That's more of a a video tutorial. So look for Hooked by Robin, and she has a corner to corner granny stitch like this. Rosa, I saw your video of your snow. Oh my gosh, it was so pretty. It was so pretty. Mary, also watch Hooked by Robin. She tells you how to do the decrease on this. I also have these listed on my TikTok. There are videos pinned at the top of my TikTok that shows how to do the scallop corner to corner. Normal corner to corner, Nurse Marie. I don't have a tutorial. Oh, maybe I do. Probably on my TikTok. Let me look for it. I'll DM you, Nurse Marie, or send me a note that says what you need. I'll reply with the link. Okay. So Lynette said, I finished the corner to corner scallop blanket. It's beautiful. Oh, how awesome, Lynette. Thank you for sharing that picture too. I saw when it was almost finished. Guys, I love seeing your works in progress and stuff. So feel free to share those on the Discord or tag me in your videos. I always try to comment and check those out. So feel free to do that as well. And I do have a lot of work, guys. I'm still trying to catch up from this weekend being gone, and I missed a few days of work. So my schedule is a little wonky this week, but I am going to hop off a few minutes early again today. I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of the gifts. Thank you, Nikki, in particular. I really appreciate that. Always such a big supporter of me and the channel here. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you have enjoyed the live this morning and you have not hit the follow button, if you're watching over on YouTube, be sure and hit the subscribe button so that you can find me again. Tomorrow we're going to be back. We're going to be working on a hat. Tomorrow we're going to start from scratch with Premiere, some of the new colors I got of the Premiere, drawing a blank. Can't remember what it is, but it's really cool yarn that just came and I'm excited to play with it. So definitely check that out. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:30 Central Time. If you are in a different time zone, arrows to the right. I have been on for about 45 minutes. So rewind your day 45 minutes. That will be my start time. I also make events ahead. So definitely check me out in the future as well. But thank you all so much for hanging out with me this morning. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. How can it not be wonderful, y'all? It's hump day for after all, right? Everybody loves a good hump day. Anyhow, enjoy your day, friends. Stay warm if you're already getting cold weather. And I will definitely see you all tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye for now.